God bless each of you. This is Evangelist Doris J. Roberson. Welcome to the Dwelling Place. I'm indeed excited tonight to continue our series called Book Talk with all of our authors across different places in Michigan and across the United States. And we're glad tonight to change our focus a little bit. Our focus tonight will be concerning our finances. And I'm indeed excited to have and welcome back Barbara Welch to have this conversation on tonight. While we are preparing and our audience are joining, I would like to encourage you to tag and share those that are joining from Facebook as well as YouTube. Welcome again to Book Talk with our authors. Uh, Whether you know it or not, at the beginning of November, it is the National Authors Day, the first day of November. And so I have been featuring Book Talk for the last 3 years. And tonight I'm excited to have Barbara Welch. And as we get into this conversation, you will hear about her background. I'm not going to read her bio because this is a conversation tonight. And as you are joining, please feel free to put your questions in our chat. Please feel free to tag and share and invite others to join the conversation. We all can learn something about money. And I hope tonight that this will be a valuable, informative, and insightful opportunity to get some answers concerning money and also to pick up a book that will be a blessing to you. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. At this time, Barb, would you please welcome our guests and share with them why to stay tuned and why to listen tonight? Why should we listen to you? And share that, and then tell us a little bit about who you are and what you want us to know about you as an author.
Well, tonight I would say, well, first of all, Sister Doris, thank you so much for having me again. It's always great to join you. I've been a guest when you've had a group of women, and we just had a really great conversation. So I
Yes.
am looking forward again. So thank you for inviting me. I would say tonight the audience can expect an honest, uplifting, and practical conversation about money, mindset, and the journey towards living a more peaceful and prosperous life. So, it's always my goal to talk about real life, real experiences. Of course, theory is important, but what I enjoy is being able to take theory and make it practical. And so I'm going to share tools and insights that people can start using immediately, no matter where they might be financially. Um, who? So you should listen tonight if you are maybe carrying some quiet stress or some fear or frustration. We are just it's living in some uncertain times, and it has caused a lot of stress for people. And so again, tonight I just would hope that this will be an opportunity to gain some confidence in your relationship with money, and just to build your faith with regard to your finances, and give you some hope. So that's really what I hope to do tonight. So I just take a breath, and I see you, and I know that change is possible, and that the good life is not out of reach for you. So
Very good. Barb, I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. I truly know that I just love your title. It's positive, and I just want to encourage those that are joining to tag someone else. And I mean, we need to know. You named this book, uh, and you are the money, let me say it again, uh, the Good Life Money Mindset.
Yes,
Uh,
the name of the book. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
that's the name of the book. But
Hmm.
you, as a coach, uh, also, so tell us a little bit. Your background is impressive, and so I want our audience to know you come. Uh, Certified, I mean, when I say certified, with degrees behind your name and experience behind your name. And I just want our guests to know, also share if you have a podcast. There's great information. I'm going to put her information up. So as we prepare, get your pen and pencil, because this woman of God is a woman of faith as well. And we're going to dig into her story, but she's going to also share some principles. So God bless you as you're joining. Feel free to give your background. So what makes you
Okay.
to know that you have money? What
Yeah.
kind
Well,
of things do you
well,
have?
Sister Doris, I'm a woman of faith, as you said, a mother, a daughter, um, a wife, and someone who deeply believes that God has a purpose for each of our lives. I'm also a financial wellness coach, a
Yes.
former banking professional and financial advisory professional, and the author of The Good Life Money Mindset and its companion workbook. So the workbook was my first publication, and my second publication is The Good Life Money Mindset, a framework for living the good life, and that will be released in 2026, early 2026. I'm just finishing final edits. I actually had the opportunity to release that in South Africa, and so I've been working on it to release here in the States. But what I want the audience to know about me is that I don't come to this topic from a place of theory. I mentioned alone. I come from lived experience. So, with my financial background and my education, I do have a master's in financial planning. I have a bachelor's of business administration from Howard University, and I worked in banking and financial planning for many years. But I come, I come today from my
Yes.
lived experience. My husband and I write about this in my books. But my husband and I went through a very difficult season after a business failure, and we had to rebuild our finances. We had to rebuild our confidence and really rebuild our lives from the ground up. So, in that process, I learned how closely related our emotions are to our mindset and our faith, and in how you manage your money. So, they just all work together. And so, as an author, my heart is to walk alongside people who may feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or ashamed about where they are financially. I can relate to that and remind them that there is hope. So that is a little bit more about me. I just believe that we are not our mistakes, and we
All right.
experienced a business failure, and that did not make us a failure. The business failed, and we move forward from that. And so I believe that other people can also do that. And you are anyone that is here with us tonight, you are God's workmanship, and you are created with purpose, and you can
Mm,
learn new ways of thinking and handling money that bring you peace instead of fear. So that's really what I write about, and why I coach, to help people experience the good life from the inside out, and really have it encompass who they are in their entirety, their whole person. So my motto is, it's your life, make it good. And so I'm going to give people those tools and the
praise
mindset
God.
to be able to make their life good.
Wow. Well, I want to go back to something earlier said in reference to help us to understand what is you said a financial wellness coach.
Yes.
And so someone may be wondering, well, what does that mean? Does that mean I don't want to interpret what it means. I want you to tell the audience, because maybe there's someone saying, I may need a financial wellness coach. And what would I get from having that opportunity to work with you?
Yes. Well, the difference, wellness is really encompassing um, that fact that as human beings, we are multifaceted. And
Yes.
so when we talk about wellness, we mean wellness in every area of our lives. So we want to be well not only financially, but in order to be well financially, we need to be well in our health. So physically, we need to be well mentally, emotionally, and even when we think about in our professional lives, we want to feel that we are satisfied doing work that we enjoy, that we are, work in a culture that we are appreciated and respected. So it really encompasses who we are as a whole person, like our overall well-being. And so that does also mean, though, financial wellness. A part of financial wellness is being financially literate. So it does
Okay.
encompass
Okay.
financial literacy. And that is when you understand the technical aspects of managing money. You are literate in how you are able to manage those basics, so you know what a budget is, and you understand you are what they call what we call in the financial word, you're banked. That means you have the appropriate accounts that you need. You have insurances, the right products and services. You understand how to navigate day to day financially. So that's just being literate. You can write checks. You understand you understand what a credit score is. You understand how to read your credit score. You understand how to enter contracts, and that is just having a literacy around finance. But then
Very good.
wellness is okay. How do I then leverage that information to really live the life that I want? So it's not enough to just have a budget, but do I understand the power of that budget? Do I understand that that really is a roadmap for me? That budget serves as it's a foundation that informs me as to what and reminds me of what it is I'm trying to accomplish, and am I really using it in the power that it offers me, or am I just saying I have a budget and it's just I'm checking off this task that has to be done? Or do I realize that, okay, this is really, when I look at my budget, I'm able to tell if I am living well. Am I living according to my values? So what do my transactions say about me? Am I, doing the things that are important to me? So am I making purchases for healthy food? Am I taking care of myself? Am I paying down debt? Am I um, planning that vacation if I value being able to travel, or if I value generosity, which is one of the financial principles of that spell the acrostic good life.
Okay.
So is that showing up? Are my values showing up in my bank statement, or
Oh,
in my day-to-day transactions? So if I say I want to live a healthy life, and I want to make sure that I'm eating good food, then when I look at my transactions, does it look like I'm buying fresh produce and healthy
okay.
food, or am
Okay.
I seeing a lot of fast food showing up in my transactions? So does it really align, right? So we start seeing the power of what that budget, with that spending plan really looks like. So that's when we start talking about, being well. Am I, maybe you have a really good income, but you find that you aren't really fulfilled. And so you be so you want to look at that. So maybe that's more of a mindset shift. Maybe you are not focused on what you want out of your life. You find yourself comparing yourself to others and what they may have and what they're doing. And so you're not finding joy, um, or you're not really living the good life that you desire to live. So
Okay.
that's when we talk about wellness, we're talking about how does every aspect of our lives um, interplay with our finances.
Okay. Very good. You fully answered that question, and actually wanted me to go on to have you talk about. You mentioned one of your principles, and your title of your book is uh, The Good Life Money Mindset. Why was it important to add the mindset to your title of your book? And then you go on to say that there are 8 principles that you point out in your workbook. So tell us why mindset is important.
Okay, so yeah, so why changing, or this whole idea of mindset being important? Um, well, our mindset, I think I should start with just kind of defining quickly what we mean by mindset. So our mindset is our thoughts and behaviors, which form habits, and it all start with the way we think. So everything we do, it starts with a thought. So that definitely relates to our finances. So everything we do financially starts with a thought. So when we make a decision to do something with our finances, it started with a thought. So that
Right.
thought, though, is shaped by how we see the world, how we see life, how we see ourselves. And so it's very important in order it's that mind the mindset is it's important because so much of our financial behavior starts in our thoughts.
Okay.
So, long before it ever shows up, in our financial decisions, or, in our bank accounts, right? And on our credit card statement, it starts as a thought. And so um, many of us were raised with, maybe fear or shame or confusion or ignorance around money. And so we bring that thinking into our adult lives. And those old beliefs can keep us stuck in patterns, and patterns of overspending, patterns of under earning, not feeling like we are worthy, feeling
Yes.
like we're an imposter, um, and or just avoiding feeling like we don't manage money well. I don't, that's just not my strength, that we can't learn
Excuse
to
me.
do more. So it all starts with thinking. So if we can recognize that, and we can change our thinking, change our
Okay.
thoughts. So we're thinking about what we're thinking about when it comes to money. So
Okay.
we're standing back, and we are thinking about why we are where we are. How did I get here? What are the behaviors and the habits? And that's what in my
Excuse me.
book, yeah, God bless you. And in my book, I'm walking through exercises and helping the reader identify those behaviors and habits,
Okay.
and so that they can be, and then begin to replace them and begin to
Okay.
practice new thinking. If you think different, you're going to have a different outcome, right?
That's
So it
true.
all starts
That's
with,
right.
as a man thinketh, right? And his heart,
Right.
so is he. So the way we're thinking is showing up. and how, so you can get, you can read a book, you can get the right information, but if you don't challenge your thinking and replace your old thinking with the new way of thinking,
Right.
you're going to keep getting the same results. So a healthy money mindset is going to give you confidence, clarity, and the emotional strength to make better decisions.
Okay. So, Barb, you talked about your own personal experience. Was that the motivation that led you to write and put together a resource workbook for people? What really motivated you to write the book? Often is said people write books to solve problems. You
Mm-hmm.
talked about you and your husband having your own business failure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was the business failure, did that lead to this, or just your experience, your training, your education led to you writing the book? Talk about that and why.
Yeah, I think, and I do. I think it's kind of multifaceted, but um, I wanted to write the books for a long time, and I just my experiences and my professional experiences, and then my personal experiences after my husband and I started a business in the early 2000s, and that business failed. That also, and then just working through that whole process, I wanted to help other individuals to be able to find their self out of a failure, or find their selves out of a financial situation. I also, when I was doing financial advising, I had developed a workshop, and the workshop was based on, this was after the business failure, and then I got back into, I wasn't with the bank anymore. We had started a family, and then I got into financial advising. That's when I went back and got my master's in personal finance. And I had a workshop, and I was living by these principles already. And so I started to teach them. But I would say that the defining moment came when I realized I had been living according to these principles for so many years. And like I said, long before it became a framework or a book, but it was when, right after our business failure, and we were just really in the, just the center of this crisis, having a failed business. And we went to church one Sunday, during this time, and our pastor was teaching on the good life out of
Okay.
Ephesians 2:10,
Okay.
and he was teaching out of the um, boy, I'm trying to think of the version. I think it was the Message Bible,
Messenger.
the
Uh-huh.
Message Bible. But it says that we are God's workmanship, and
Yes.
that that He had created paths for us to take to live a good life. And it just
Oh,
really
great.
resonated with me that
Okay.
I was created as a masterpiece of God, that He had already prepared this life for me, and He wanted me to have a good life. So I just needed to come in agreement with Him. And regardless of the failure that we had endured, my life was good in the midst of the crisis, in the midst of the failure. Like, my life was good that day. I didn't have to wait until a future date. I had to see myself
Okay.
living a life the way God had predestined and prearranged and made ready for me to live, and just begin to walk it out. And so that was, I would say, um, that was why I wanted to name the book The Good Life. So then I started to develop these principles that I and my husband were living according to. And I was developing them. and just in my own personal time, my devotional time. And when I looked up, years later, at this time, this was in early 2000s. We had just our family was were very young. We had two toddlers, and by the time I started writing the book, we had worked through that failure. We were really thriving, and I said, wow, these are no longer just some principles that I'm working. These are principles that are tried and true, because now I
Right.
can look back on these principles, and I've been living like this for 20 years.
Praise God.
Right. And then you couple that with the professional experience. And so um, I thought it's time for me to put
Beautiful.
put my books out there. So I'm really
So
excited about it.
absolutely, absolutely. I can see that and feel that. And um, so you mentioned that there were principles that you were already living by, and because of this climate, and I want this to be helpful to someone, and that may be saying, she's talking about someone that has a good job, or uh, a two family home income, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
is your book, uh, who is the audience that
Mm-hmm.
you had in mind when you were writing? And was it people like, the typical two household family, or anyone? And then,
Right.
I want you to address that, because there may be someone saying, you know what, maybe I'm not as financially literate,
Mhm.
and I need to uh, understand credit reports. Or maybe I need to understand how uh, how to manage what comes in and what comes out, my assets, and all of that. So
Yes.
talk to me about who would be the targeted audience for your book, and then I wanted you to address um, how your book can help even in this climate.
Climate. Okay. Yes. So my target, my targeted audience for the Good Life Money Mindset book and workbook is really anyone who wants to strengthen their financial foundation
Okay.
and experience more peace, more purpose, and confidence with their money.
That's good.
Um, but especially working professionals,
Okay.
women, families, emerging professionals who are doing their best but still feel stuck.
Yes.
You can be doing a lot of the right things and just feel stuck, or overwhelmed, or just unsure about their financial direction. You just have a lot of questions, or you're doing the right things but you aren't able to be consistent with it.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm doing the right things, but I'll do well for 90 days, or some seems like something comes up, and so they are wondering what is the missing piece. So I'm hoping to reach people who are working hard, managing real responsibilities, trying to build stability and security, and they may not have had access to financial education. Maybe
Okay.
they've learned a lot, and I would say I commend people, because most people just learn along the way. It's kind of like you're building a ship while it's floating. You are just trying to figure it out, and I commend people for doing that. Um, but yeah, they may not have had access to financial education or positive money examples. It may be something they just have not been exposed to, or as we've been talking about, a healthy mindset. They That's just something that's new to them. They just never really considered it. They might work on other areas of their lives, but they don't seem to impact their finances. So maybe it's a mind shift that they need. So
Right.
I'm hoping to reach those people. So I really wrote the book for people who need practical guidance and that emotional support as well, because so much of our financial behavior is shaped by many times what we're trying to manage in life. So the stressors of
Right.
life, and also we may deal with stuff. We may deal with fear, shame, old patterns. So I want readers to know that they're not alone and that they
Okay.
can rebuild, reset, move forward, and live the life that they imagine. So my audience is anyone ready to grow. So
Okay.
not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They really want a whole, a complete, a multifaceted
Okay.
approach to managing their finances. So anybody that's ready to live the good life with intention, gratitude, and discipline. So
Okay. And and maybe you were going to address this. I don't think I indicated that the book can be purchased on Amazon. Is that correct?
that is correct. So the workbook is available on Amazon.com, also on my website. So if you have a group that you like, maybe you have a book club or a group and you like to go through the book together, then I do offer offer a reduced discounts for bulk
Okay.
purchases on my website, thegoodlifemoneycoach.com. And so I
Okay.
have
That
a
is really good to know.
bookstore. Yeah, it's easy.
And and is that
Thegoodlifemoneycoach.com.
virtually done? Like
The
if
book,
if a book club, if there's a, let's say, a church book club and they wanted to go through the principles as a group.
I
Um,
would love that. So if they were interested in doing that, so if they wanted to buy the books and then they wanted to talk to me about that, then you can get in touch with me. On the website, there is a form that you can complete and be in touch with me. You can also get in touch with me on my Instagram page. It's also the Good Life Money Coach. And if you look in my bio, it has all of my contact information. You can schedule a meeting with me. You can go on there tonight and schedule a session with me. But if you are interested in that, there is information on social media and my website. So I would love that. And I've done that for organizations where they have purchased books and they invite their employees or their members to be a part of a book club, and then I'll do sessions with them. So
okay.
that is definitely something that I offer. And then my new book, I will have that information. If you are interested in that, please, if you're on Instagram, just let me know that you are interested in information for the book. You can also do that on the website, and I will make sure that you are made aware of the release as soon, even before I release it to the general public.
Okay.
So
And so, Barb, someone that maybe send individually, that do you customize their sessions for individually? Let's say, I mean, you're in one place and a person says, hey, I can't, do you set up like Zoom meetings, or it's all face to face?
So I certainly do coaching one on one, and it would be virtual. And again, you're able to set that up. Like if you go to my Instagram page in my bio, you can also just email me, and I can send you that information. You can email me at contact at thegoodlifemoneycoach.com.
Okay, why don't you repeat that again? So,
Contact, yeah,
uh-huh.
contact at thegoodlifemoneycoach.com.
Very good. That's great. So now, as I want you, I know that there's eight. Do you mind giving either, just, you don't have to talk about them, so people know the content of your book? What is it going? Maybe three out of the eight. Can you just tell us what those titles or what those principles, um, and they don't have to be in
Sure.
order. Uh,
Yeah. So
so
the eight
just so
the
that the
eight
audience
principles.
know this is what they got.
I can go through them real quick, so it won't take long. But
And
the
don't
good.
explain it because we want them to buy your book.
That's right. So no, I want to share them because it spells in acrostic, so it's easy to
Oh,
remember. Either an
okay.
acrostic or you could call it an acronym. But
Okay.
so it's easy to remember. So we'll do good first, and then life. So let's start
Oh,
with G.
okay.
Okay, so G is for generosity and gratitude, which are just
Okay.
they are first because they are most important. So we need to start our
Mm,
day with gratitude and to be generous with our, great attitudes, generous with compliments, just having a great attitude. Even if we can't give lots of money away. It's just being
mindset.
a generous spirit and a generous mindset. So, and then
Okay.
gratitude is so important. It's just so much research on it. So I talk a lot about that in the workbook and in the new book. O, the first O in good is for being open to accountability. And so
Okay.
accountability has a lot to do with discipline, which is so very important. We can do some really amazing things financially using financial tools and being able to hit our goals, and if we have discipline. And
That's
so,
so true.
right, we can save and hit a goal. We can use credit to our advantage and be able to pay that off. We can decide that we are going to um, have a savings goal to be able to invest or to get out of debt. If we're disciplined, we can change our earning ability by
So true.
reinventing ourselves and learning a new skill set or going back and getting a new degree or a certification. So accountability is a huge part of discipline, and
That's
we are being accountable to systems that to people and our advisors, to systems and
I don't want
plans
you to
that we put out,
give it all
right?
away.
So I'm not going to give it all away, but I just love those because those are so
That's
powerful.
really good.
The second O is for operating according to a detailed financial plan. And so I talk about what that plan is
Mm,
from um, as a financial professional. A plan is more than just your budget. So a plan is incorporating those basics, like your budget and your credit and your
yes,
being banked, but it also is talking about your investments and saving and your
that's really good.
for retirement and your insurance planning, investment planning, tax planning, estate planning, right? Your plan. So
Wow.
you have to
Okay.
operate according to a plan. And then D is that we've already talked about it. D is for discipline. Huge, right? And so I have
Yes,
about
yes.
14 characteristics and attributes that help us build discipline, and some exercises that help you to start learning how to build that discipline that you need financially. So now that's good. Let's go to life. L
That is
in
so
life
good.
is for being a lifelong learner, and that's part of being financially well and living a good life. Is living is learning for a lifetime. We never arrive. We're always learning. We're always growing. God is always showing us new things. We're always becoming a better person, and it just makes life so rich. So we're going to be a lifelong learner. And then I is for investing in you, investing in every part of who you are. So investing in who you are emotionally, physically, financially, occupationally, relationally, every aspect of who you are, and really, self-care in every area of your life. And so, and why that's so important to have a good
Wow.
life. And
That's
then
good.
F is for financial freedom. And so, not just financially, but being free on the journey to accomplishing all of our financial goals. We should be free from any obstacles, any mindsets, any behaviors that are preventing us from living a good life. And then E is for examining the good life stealers in our life. And so I have
Okay.
a whole approach that's based on neuroscience, and where we're practicing these new behaviors. We're examining good life stealers in our life over a 62-day period, because research shows that it takes about 62 days to really solidify new thinking. And so we start forming new neural pathways when we every time we have a thought. And when we're changing a thought, the more we practice that thought, the more we're having that thought, that neural pathway is becoming reinforced and habitual, so that it just becomes natural. So after a while, if you don't like if you don't like managing your finances, let's say you really don't enjoy sitting down and paying your bills, but when you begin to speak that I want to be on top of my finances, because I am a successful person, I am a responsible, accountable person, and I am savvy financially, and there are things that I want in my life. And so this is a tool for me to get where I want. And I want to have joy and peace and clarity in my life. When you begin to think that way, when you sit down before you do your finances and you take the time to just breathe and take a moment to pray, and it becomes a positive experience. You begin to enjoy it, because what's happening is you're thinking positively, you're having a positive experience, and you are actually changing your brain. You're changing how you think about that.
That's good. That is really good.
You are physically There are physical changes happening. So it's not just this elusive idea, but it is something that is actually happening in your body. Our
Yes,
brains are part of our bodies,
absolutely.
right? And so we can change it. It's not the way you think about money today, or the challenges you're having about money. You might want to invest. You might want to buy real estate. You might want to begin to be a trader, and purchase stocks. And you think, well, I don't know that stuff. You can learn that stuff. And if you practice it, it's just like anything, and you approach it positively, and you just, little bit by little bit, you are changing. You're learning new information, and you're actually changing your brain. And so then
Wow.
it's just becomes second nature. So this stuff that we think we can't get over, we can get over it.
So
We can.
it sounds like an individual would almost have an assessment where they are and looking and to change. They do an inventory
Mhm.
as a part of your process.
Yes, absolutely. So
Oh, oh,
when I'm working with clients, that's exactly right. So we start with where they are, and we look at these different principles. We also look at the framework that I have developed and introduced in the
okay,
new book. And we do an assessment. And so we understand
beautiful.
where we're going, and then we start building from there. So you understand the pieces. I have a story in my book for this young professional that I met, and I just thought his question was so great. But he says, I'm saving. Every time I get paid, I make sure that I'm saving. And his question was, but I really don't understand why. Why am I saving? And I just thought it was a great question. He wanted to really understand, why. He's like, yeah, I mean, I know, I might need to buy something, but I really want to he wanted to understand
Hmm.
the principle behind saving, and why it's
Okay.
so crucial, so critical to our overall finances. And so I was telling him it's so foundational, and there are
That's
levels
so
of
good.
saving. It's levels of saving. So you want to have a cash reserve. And why do you want a cash reserve? Well, we see the power of a cash reserve. What? we've experienced as a country. So many of our colleagues, family, just fellow countrymen and women were laid off or furloughed during
Right.
the government shutdown. And those families, those individuals that had a reserve, they fared better than those individuals who
Absolutely.
didn't. So that's your first level of savings, that cash reserve. And then a next level of savings is when you begin to save so that you can, pay off debt or save for other financial goals, to build assets, to start building wealth, to be able to have investments, to prepare for your future. And then there's different products that you are going to use for those different levels of savings. So if it's short term or more mid, medium, or long term, you're going to use different types of savings instruments. And so that's information and resources that I give in the new book. I'm talking about
Okay.
those kinds of things. So yes, when I'm sitting down with the client, we're talking about, we're talking about who they are. We're talking about, what is most important to you? What are your values? And then, okay, so how is your spending lining up with that? And then we go through different assessments and different activities to help them really begin to understand their finances
Okay.
and feel better as a person and start practicing the principles. Every time we get together, how are you doing on the principles, and how,
Yeah.
different exercises that we've done
Absolutely.
together. So it really becomes this opportunity to just really become happier in your life. And our finances have so much to do with that. I mean, so much of what, the Bible says money answereth all things. So many things that you have to have money for.
So
Money's
let
not
me ask this.
everything, but it's a lot of it answers
Yes.
a lot of questions in life.
So just to um, maybe help someone out there, that is your book aligned with, and as you go through the resource book, are we also incorporating scriptures, or is it more of a practical, general? And I'm asking because there may be someone that's not a non-believer, and so um, I'm not looking for a biblical Bible base, and there may be a person that's saying, that I'm interested in something that's also going to encourage me with scripture. So,
Yeah.
is
Yes.
there a balance there?
So the book is, I am very open about my faith,
Yes.
my personal faith in God. And
Yes.
I so it comes out in the principles. But I've written the book for anyone, and I would hope that anyone, regardless of their spiritual background, that they would sense that, because the principles are baked into it. It's like inherent, right? So it's not a Christian, um I'm not putting it in that category for,
Okay.
like there are Christian books, and so, they give a lot of scripture references. So you will hear it in some of the stories,
Okay.
but that is not the way I've written this book, so that I could take this to the world. So I
That's
can
good.
go into organizations, so I've had the honor, the opportunities to be able to present in corporations and in public, places, as well as in churches,
Good.
because the principles are there. So, as I went through my principles, I mean, those are all right. Those are principles
Yes.
that are very much aligned with our faith as, Christian people.
Absolutely.
But I
Ab-
want the book to touch the masses. And so that's the
That's
way I've written it. But I do want to write a devotional for someone that really wants that would accompany the book. So as you're reading the books, or if you've read my book and you read the workbook, and you are living according to the good life money mindset approach, then you might want to also um, have my devotional. So that is something I would like to do in the future. But the book is
Okay.
really written for, every, anyone, but they are
It's,
looking to be
it sounds like
encouraged
it's
and hope and have, and they're looking for a hopeful approach to
okay.
managing our finances. I think so many times it's either it's so white and black when it comes to finances, of different approaches that I have seen as a professional, where it's this way or no way, and I just don't believe that. I believe that we can still enjoy our lives wherever we are. It's not, if once you get your finances together, then you can enjoy your life. I say getting your finances together, it can mean it's a decision. So it can mean you have just filed bankruptcy, or you lost your job, or you don't have any money in the bank, you are almost homeless, but you decide my life is going to be good. And so that mindset is taking you in that direction, and you have decided I'm going to enjoy life. So wherever level you're at, you can find the good in life. That could
That's,
be, I am going to go to the public library, and I'm going to check a book out and go sit in the park, or I'm going to make a cup of coffee at home because I'm just grateful that I was able to buy groceries. And so I'm going to clean my house. I'm going to sit down with my favorite mug, and I'm going to enjoy my coffee and listen to some music. The good life, right? You don't have to be on a certain financial level to live the good life. The
that's
good life
good.
is defined as many people as there are in the world. That is the We have that many scenarios of what the good life can look like, right?
Okay.
So
Well, Barb,
yes. I
as
hope that
we're
answers
wrapping
your question,
up
Sister
here,
Dora.
I want for you to again share. Um, you mentioned that your new book will come out sometime 2026, spring or summer of 2026. But again, where can people find your information? I know that your website offers a complimentary, is it a 30-minute interview or consultation? Would you share that as we wrap up so that, and where they can find your book? And
Yes. So
and
again, you
anybody
can
that's
find.
recently joined us, you're going to have to go back and share and listen to the replay. There's so many good principles that she's already described that's available in her book. And this has been a most valuable interview and chat. And at this time, I want you to wrap up with your closing information.
Okay, so again, thank you so much for having me, Sister Doris. And it's real easy. TheGoodLifeMoneyCoach.com, and you'll be able to find my information there. And if you want to get in touch with me, it's very easy. It's on the front page of the website, so you can find my information. And you can also email me at contact@thegoodlifemoneycoach.com. Follow me on Instagram at The Good Life Money Coach. Follow
That's
me
good.
on Facebook at The Good Life Money Coach. Follow me on LinkedIn you can follow me under Barbara Welch, as well as please follow me on LinkedIn at The Good Life Money Coach. So it's really easy. All you have to remember is The Good Life Money Coach. That's also the name of the books are The Good Life Money Mindset, available on Amazon in bulk on my website. And new information you'll be able to find, stay abreast for new information on social media. So that's how to reach me. And I just want to encourage you all that decide, regardless of where you are today, regardless of where you are in your finances, decide that life is good. And
Amen.
my motto, my motto is it's your life. It's your life. It's not anyone else's life.
That's good.
It's your life. No one is controlling you. You have to take control of your life and make it good. You have the power to do that. You have the ability. God has giving you everything, every resource, every
Ooh, that's so
ability
good.
to be able to make your life what you want it to be. And so I just leave you with that. I leave you with just hope and joy, and just pray that you will enjoy the holiday season with your family and friends, your loved ones, and go into the new year believing for beautiful things for yourself and your family. So God bless everyone. Thank you again, Sister Doris, for having me.
You are quite welcome. I've enjoyed this conversation. I definitely will share it with some of my contacts that have small Bible groups. And if they are in need, I certainly will recommend your information. What a blessing uh, to financial literacy is so important. The earlier we can instruct our children, our young people, it's helping them have a better life and
It
a good life.
is.
Earlier
Yes.
you learn and know this information, that foundational information. And I just love the fact that you came from out of your own experience and just hearing Ephesians. Was that Ephesians 2 and 10?
Yes. Yes.
Ephesians 2 and 10, and taking that and coming up even with your title and hearing that word. That was a rhema word that you heard that day that led to your
Yes.
business
Yes.
plan and your business model and just the life you were already living and taking it and running with it. It's so just beautiful. I just love as I hear stories, especially with book talk, it excites me because it's something behind the title. There's something behind the story. It's and now God is using that to be a blessing to the body of Christ. And so I want to appreciate you, uh, Barb, and just your wealth of knowledge and blessings to you. When I first started, I was buying everybody's book. I had just so many books I couldn't keep up reading them. And so then I was donating them. So, but I'm just glad to
Well,
share.
Doris,
I've
when the
been
new book comes out, I want to bless you with the book. So
alrighty. That sounds
I am going to
great.
send you a book.
I appreciate that. And so I'm excited to hear how the Lord is progressing you in your business, even for those that have small business, uh, would be a blessing to be a blessing to their staff and so forth. So we will
Thank you.
definitely be promoting your information and putting it back out there. Uh, and I have once you're on, I have used the panel. I've had people to say, "Oh my God, those women were just so rich and so good." I recently had someone, and you all don't even know that I just put it out there back again, it's repackaged, and what a blessing. So thank you again tonight. I'm not going to keep you any longer. This has really been a wonderful blessing to our audience. I want to welcome you to come back and be with us throughout the rest of this month. We have on Sunday, the topic is switching to marriage, love and marriage. And so we want to encourage you to join us. And on next Thursday, we're talking about healing. A person that wrote about her own divine healing that God has done in their life. And it's a wonderful devotional of healing. And so we look forward to just appreciating these authors. And I believe it's going to be a blessing to your ministry as you have blessed us tonight. And we will, as I said, promote it. So stay with us. I'm going to end this broadcast. God bless each of you that have joined on tonight. Thank you for tagging and sharing. God bless you.